Vicki here. So today I am going to use some eggshells that I have saved over the last few weeks, and I'm going to dry them out, crush them up, and put them out in the garden to help give my plants a little extra something something. So let's do that. Starting off with just a sheet pan. And all my eggs. Now I have not washed these, rinsed these, done anything with these other than I have been saving these for quite a while. Kind of indiscriminately. So I think I'm just going to try to lay them out in one layer without getting myself too gooey here. And, ooh. My thought is that if I separate the different pieces that I've got going on here, that it will kind of dry up those yolks that I left a little better. I do think I have enough to cover the bottom of this sheet pan. So I'm doing this because, well, right now, because my, one of my tomato plants is definitely afflicted with a little blossom end rot, and I want to help it not do that so it makes some good tomatoes this year for me. Obviously, given how many eggshells we have, I had planned on doing this a while ago. So it's not like this was a thing I started to do after I had the problem. For me, this year I did purchase some calcium fertilizer from the store, bone meal, because I knew I would need it, and I've used it. And I had always planned on sort of once that ran out, making my own in some shape or form. I did not anticipate how sticky the bottom layer of my eggs were going to be. Maybe next time I will put them in a different type of vessel. Okay. I do think it's important that every shell has its own place. So, gosh, I'm already learning so much for next time. Start in a different container. Because it does not come out of this. Okay, we did it. Now I'm gonna bake these in the oven. I'm gonna do it at a lower temperature because I'm really just seeking to dry it out completely. If I had, I don't know that I'd use a dehydrator for this, but yeah, I'll see you back after I bake it for some time. So this is after about 10 minutes at 200. I think there's still some liquid that's not cooked on these. So I'm gonna put them back in for another 5 minutes. Well, it's getting there, but we're still juicy. So back in. Maybe we'll do 10 minutes this time. It's at 200. So we're gonna try 10 more minutes and see if that'll do it. I just wanna make sure they're dry. And there was a lot of yolks in them. So guess we're cooking that and then seeing if we can dry it out. So yeah, it might take a little bit, that's fine. So it's actually been 35 minutes. I was waiting for these to really dry up and the risk of burning myself. No, they're still gooey. So back in they go. We're gonna try it another 20 minutes. All right, it's been another while. Really not sure. I do think we're getting there, but there's still quite a bit of little juicy in these, and I do want them to be dry. So I'm actually gonna just set the timer for 30 minutes this time. I'm gonna resist the urge to turn up the temperature. And yeah, we'll check back in half an hour and see how it's going. Okay, it's been another 30 minutes. It's been 30 minutes since we last checked on these. And I'm feeling so optimistic. I'm gonna take them all the way out of the oven. All right, which one of these looks juicy? This one looks a little juicy. No, it wasn't. Cool. What about this one? Also no. Okay, great. So, I don't know how long this was. Honestly, it might have been like an hour all told. But I'm gonna let these cool. And then I will squish them up. So we'll be back in a bit. All right. So my eggs have cooled and I have decided to crush them using this. Not out what this is, but I usually have used it for crushing up like toasted spices and things for different dishes. I think it's sold as like a guacamole thing, but I've never used used it for that. Anywho, I'm using it for this because I didn't want to put the eggshells in my blender. And honestly, this does the job just fine. Yes, it takes a little bit longer, but whatever. It's kind of therapeutic being able to just like squish it. So this did take a few minutes, but honestly, it's just a few minutes, and then you can control better, I think, how fine you want the crushed eggshells to be, as opposed to if I were to use my blender, I'm gonna get truly a fine powder, I think. But I don't know. I just only want like food that I'm gonna eat to be in my blender. So, anywho, yeah, let's get them all squished up. So now that I'm pleased with the texture, I'm just putting it in this old instant coffee jar. Now, if I were not using this immediately, I would probably want to lay it back out on the baking sheet and just, you know, put it through the oven for another, I don't know, 30 minutes just to make sure it really is dry before it goes in. But I'm going to be using this in the garden in the next few weeks at the most, so not terribly concerned about that. I did realize, yes, there was a better way to get this in the jar, so you know, maybe you do that up front instead of just making a mess. But that was overall really easy to do. I am certainly confident that the granularity that I crushed it to will be sufficient, particularly for the larger plants like the tomatoes, um, which will benefit from this the most. I'll also put some on the peppers, I think. But um, yeah, pretty easy. All that's left to do is I do want to make sure I label this container with what it is now. It is no longer coffee. Um, and put the date so I know how long it's been in there. But hopefully this will help and certainly can't hurt. So, till next time, toodaloo.